Hey, what's up? This is Brandon Simmons from BrandonSimmons.biz. This is my weekly video blog called Bullheaded, a review of the Houston Texans news, as well as a preview of the upcoming game matchups. Now, this week, the Texans are going to go on the road, take on the Jacksonville Jaguars for sole ownership of first place in the AFC South. And so we're going to touch on all that in just a few. But first, let me see if I can go ahead and just give a quick recap of Sunday's win against the Buffalo Bills. So once again, the Texans were involved in another thriller, third straight week, three-game winning streak as well. And yeah, I know people are probably saying, "Oh, it's the Buffalo Bills. They didn't need to do all that. What's wrong with them?" Well, yeah, it is the Buffalo Bills. However, it's good to kind of see the Texans like dig in and just kind of keep this team in the game, and just come back, pull off a win like that. Yeah, it's Buffalo, but I mean, there's a lot of other teams that are out there that are similar to Buffalo that we're probably going to pull up on, and they just going to try and sneak up on us and give us the best that they got, and put us in a little predicament or whatever. So it's good that the Texans can, kind of recognize that and just dig in. Thank you for those two interceptions, Jonathan Joseph and Kareem Jackson. So, I mean, it is what it is, and a win is a win. So I'm definitely happy with that result. One thing I will say definitely about that game is, our O-line got to get better. All season they just been inconsistent, and Sunday was a perfect example. Watson got sacked 7 times, had 3 turnovers himself, and he has to get better too as far as getting rid of the ball on certain plays. But yes, just protecting the ball as well. I think he had one or two. I think it was one. I think it was 2 fumbles, but he had at least one fumble, whatever. But even then, it don't matter if he had zero. It don't matter if he had 7 fumbles. You just gotta protect the ball, especially when he's getting sacked, because you don't want those type of problems. But O-line, Watson, they need to, communicate a little bit better. Just come together collectively and just, get better moving forward down the line. So that's all I have to say about that. Now, on to this week's topics. So, 3-game win streak. And in addition to that, just this whole month of October, or just to describe what the Texans are doing right now, it kind of reminds me of the weather in Texas right now. Lately it's been raining. It's been transitioning from the summertime heat into like the fall temperatures. And so this time of year, it's that time of year, just like probably in the beginning of the spring, around early March, late April, where you kind of go outside to check the weather because you don't know if you're going to need a jacket for the day or if you're going to need, a t-shirt and shorts or just a t-shirt for the day. And that's kind of what the Texans are in right now. They're getting a little bit of a temperature check on what kind of team we have. We got a 3-game win streak, right? But before that, we were 0-3. And when we were 0-3, it was just a whole bunch of, negativity being thrown around. Deserved negativity, though. People were like, fire Bill O'Brien. Oh, Watson don't know what he's doing. The O-line is, the defense that, just all types of stuff. And rightfully so. I mean, the Texans was playing like crap. And so now, after this 3-game win streak, there's a totally different outlook on the season. As I mentioned at the beginning, the Texans have a chance to end up in first place in the AFC South. Right now, the Jaguars are 3-3. The Titans are 3-3, and I thought the division was just going to be, I thought it was going to be a little bit different. The Jaguars, they're coming in off winning the division, obviously, but they were also coming in the season with the number one defense. Hell, they were coming in this game with the number one defense, and so I think they're down to number 2 now. But I mean, still, they have the best defense in the AFC South. The Titans, I thought they were going to make a little bit more noise than what they've been doing, what they did last year. But actually, they were coming off their own little playoff appearance as well, with Indianapolis Colts getting Andrew Luck back. I'm figuring like, maybe they'll actually, kind of be on track for something. But I mean, Luck's playing good, but I mean, the rest of that team, they're still doing Indianapolis Colts things. Bad offensive line, bad defense. So with that being said, now you have this culmination of things that have made the AFC South, just kind of the division that people kind of flick their noses at times, and rightfully so, given the circumstances or the things that's happening right now. But with the Jacksonville Jaguars, their last two games, they just haven't been showing up, and so now with all those things that have culminated and been done, it sets the scene for the Texans to come in with their recent success and try to take over this division as they've done in years past. It's usually been like, the Jags have been doing bad, the Titans have been doing bad. The only one that's doing relatively good has been the Texans. So here they come just to like claim that spot. So with that being said, it's just a whole totally different outlook on what the Texans can do on this season now. At 0-3, it didn't even look like they were going to make the playoffs. Now, with a chance to go 4-3 or just take over this division, they look like they can make the playoffs. I don't know if anybody wants to claim that they'll get to first round bye status yet, but winning this division at the end of the year, it sure does seem like it's pretty much possible. Another thing about this 3-game win streak is these overtime and last minute wins. Those are a lot more important than what people think. And like I said earlier, yeah, it's the Buffalo Bills, but it's not just the Buffalo Bills that they pulled this last minute these last minute heroics on. Of course, against the Indianapolis Colts, they took them to overtime, and that's a division rival. The Dallas Cowboys, they took them to overtime. That's the rival. And with the Cowboys, it's a different type of rival. It's probably a rival bigger than any opponent that's in our division right now. Come on, it's the Cowboys. We have the history there. And not only that, beating them on national TV, that boosts our brand up a little bit. So it's a lot more into it than just, winning the football game for bragging rights. It's a little bit deeper than that. So, but with that being said, I would say, yeah, but with that being said, just these overtime games, these last minute games, I mean, it definitely shows some resiliency. It definitely shows that the Texans have fight in this season. They have fight this year, and we're going to need that fight. Like I said, we have the talent to compete with any team in the league, I believe. Top to bottom, Patriots, Cleveland Browns, whatever. We have the talent on defense. We have the talent on offense. And, definitely with this offense, it's probably the best talent that we've had on there in a while, and even probably the best talent since O'Brien took over as head coach. So, I mean, we can actually, make some noise if we show a little bit of resiliency, if we show a little bit of fight late in these games. And that's going to definitely be important, especially when it comes around to playoff time, especially when it comes around to late in the season if we're trying to get into the playoffs. So definitely these overtime games have been superb. Next thing about the temperature check of the Texans, the schedule going forward is going to be interesting. So the games they have coming up. So they got the Jaguars on Sunday. This Thursday, they're going to have the Miami Dolphins coming up. So definitely a short week. Jags on the road, Dolphins at home for sure. They have a Denver Broncos team coming up. And I put on my notes that they're a low-hanging Broncos team, which meaning is that what I mean by that is, Broncos, they've done some good this season, but right now they're just sitting at 3-4. The other night they blew out the Arizona Cardinals, and I guess that's cool and everything. A blowout is a blowout. But it's also the Arizona Cardinals. They're having their own issues as well. So you really can't just take that all the way for what it is. But yeah, this is a Broncos team where I was like, can we win this game? And that was probably around the time they started out 2-0. But now, they're at 3-4, and it's like, this looks like a winnable game. They look like they have a solid defense. Offense looks, decent, especially with their running game as always. But I definitely see it as a winnable game. But we'll get to it when we get there. The bye week comes, and then they'll be rested up to face a team like the Washington Redskins after the bye week. And the Redskins, they're not doing too shabby this year. I think I checked and they were 4-2 or whatever. But Alex Smith is playing good. Adrian Peterson, surprisingly, he's playing good. I didn't think he would be that much of a factor for them, but yeah, he's making quite a few plays over there. So they're sitting pretty. They're sitting pretty good where they're at in that division as well. So it's going to be a great competitive game for the Texans to see where they're at, see where their temperature is going forward after the bye week and into the postseason. So just overall, the schedule, it looks like it's a good mix of how good are you? Pretty much, how good is this Texans team? How good can they really be? Now, with the Jags and the Dolphins thing, that's probably going to be a little bit little tricky, just because it's a short week. So the preparation might be a little shaky here or there. But I mean, at the same time, um, all the teams go through this. So I'm pretty sure they have a plan in place. And this isn't the Texans' first time doing a Thursday night game the week of a Sunday night game. So I'm pretty sure they have something that, they implemented or they can abide by, to get them focused on a game for that week. But overall, yeah, it's a good schedule. It's a good mix of, teams that are up there, quote unquote elite, teams that are, kind of down there, and teams that are just kind of middle in the road. Actually, I would say most, aside from the Jaguars, most of these teams are just kind of middle of the road, trying to find their way around and see what their temperature is. So definitely it's going to be a good thing for them going forward. But that's all I got for the that's all I got for the Texans for that week. So let me go ahead and jump in to the game, what they need to do to win. So they have the Jaguars coming up on Sunday. And they only got three things as always that they can do to win. And so first things first, control the clock against this Jaguars defense. So what they'll have to do is the Texans will need to get back to the run game. They were like top 10 starting off in the season running the ball. Now they've dropped all the way to like 15. So they need to get that going. Miller should be healthy. I definitely love Blue as a second option. I also love him as a goal line option. Don't know if I mentioned that last week in regards to the red zone situation, but I definitely love Blue as a goal line short yardage option. The Jaguars, they don't have their running back. However, they did trade for Carlos Hyde, and they signed Jamal Charles last week. So they replenished the stable a little bit. I'll give them that. But the Texans still have to focus on like trying to outrush them. Another thing to control the clock, keep the third downs on the short yardage side. So the penalties, they've definitely put us in some 3rd and 10s, 3rd and 15s, 3rd and 8s. We need to cut that out. The Texans need, when it comes to third down, Texans need to be at 3rd and 5 or less, maybe a 3rd and 6. But for the most part, it has to be 3rd and 5 or less, just to keep that clock going. Like I said, this Jaguars defense, and I'll talk about it a little bit more in a few, but they haven't been playing that great in these last 2 games. So you definitely want to keep them on the field, wearing them down even more. And so keeping the third downs on the short yardage side, 5 yards or less, is definitely going to help control that clock and run it and wear that defense down. Create turnovers is the second thing that needs to be done. So Bortles right now, he's like second in the league throwing for 8 picks. That's second most in the league. Now, if I believe if Case Keenum didn't throw an interception Thursday, then Bortles probably would have, held the lead or whatever. But he could probably take over the interception lead if the Texans are able to force turnovers. So the Texans have to force turnovers by Bortles. Because one thing about Bortles is I was looking at some of his games. A couple of them where he has high numbers, they've been losses. So, but the ones where he's had like low numbers, like in the 100s, 200s, like passing yards, they've been wins. Hell, I believe in the playoff game last season against the Buffalo Bills, he had like 80-something yards. It wasn't a lot, but they won that game just by him staying out the way, basically. So if he gets in the way, he will try to win that game. So, but it more than likely won't be a success if he tries. So, definitely, create the turnovers with Bortles, and force the pass by taking away that run. So yeah, they've gotten their new running backs in. I'm not sure how soon they're going to get Carlos Hyde into the game plan because they just traded for him like Friday. So definitely, he might not be in his game plan. Jamal Charles might be in the game plan. So definitely take away their run, take away what they have at the moment, and just force Bortles to like try to make plays, and that's more than likely when he's going to make his mistakes. So look for those mistakes. Third and final thing that needs to be done is maintain the aggression against the Jaguars. Now, last two games, Jaguars have given up 800 yards plus and 70 points just in the last two games. Now, the first of those two games, it was against the Kansas City Chiefs. It was like, okay, you give up, 30 points to the Kansas City Chiefs. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? The Kansas City's offense has just been blowing everybody out the toilet this year. But 40 points against a Dallas Cowboys team whose offense has just not been connecting that much. Yeah, that's saying something about your defense. Just whether it's coverage mistakes or just not playing hard enough, not tackling. It's just pretty surprising to see those type of numbers from a number one ranked defense. And like I said, that's still like number two. They only dropped to like number two within the last couple of weeks. But I mean, this is a Jags defense that they're pretty vicious, and we've seen that last season. We've seen that in the playoffs. Actually, in the wild card, where they just went in and just was holding Buffalo to however many points they held them to. But at the same time, this Jags defense, they're gonna be angry, basically, and not just the defense going to be angry. That whole team is going to be angry. They got blew out, embarrassed on national TV last week, and so they're going to look to make that up against us, against a division rival. So another thing that needs to be done is just match their anger from these recent performances. As I said, 30 points to the Chiefs is one thing, but when you give up 40 points to one of the worst offenses in the NFL right now, that's saying something about your defense. That should get your defense mad. And you saw it in the post game with Jalen Ramsey. He didn't even want to say nothing. After and people were flaming him up because he was talking all this noise about everybody's quarterback, and here he is, can't even defend his own quarterback. So definitely, man, you just got to match that anger. The Texans have to match the Jaguars' anger from their performances because they're going to be angry. This crowd is going to be amped. And so the Texans coming in, just have to just take it to them, just like they took it to Indianapolis, like they took it to Dallas, and just, punch them in the mouth and keep them angry, you know. But yeah, so they do those three things: control the clock, create turnovers, maintain aggression. Texans should be fine, and they should get the W this Sunday against the Jaguars. So that's all I got for this week, man. I'm Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz. Holla black.